Serious accusations, a local daycare under investigation this morning. What a mother says happened to her 4-year-old under their watch.
The time that you could spend wondering and thinking, why me? That's time that you could have spent working your tail off to get better.
And an emotional achievement for an Indiana teen that escaped death not once but twice. The story of Austin Hatch's first week at college.
And we are starting to dry out today after a soggy Friday. We do have a chance of more storms, so in your forecast, I'll have the details.
From Indiana's news leader, Eyewitness News Weekend Sunrise starts now.
Good morning to you. It is 8 o'clock on this Saturday morning. Welcome to Weekend Sunrise. I'm Naomi Peskovitz here with Kelly Green. You have kind of a mixed bag forecast for us today.
We do. Over the stretch of the 7 days, we have a lot of heat, humidity, storms, as well as much cooler temperatures.
Something for everyone.
Yes, kind of a roller coaster this week, but we are starting to dry out. That is definitely some good news, where some areas like Hartford City had 24-hour rain totals of over 10.5 inches. We definitely need some dry time, and we do have that this morning, although we have a chance of a few more storms a little bit later on this afternoon. We're starting off with some cloudy skies. We do have some flood warnings that are in effect right now for portions of Grant, Miami, Wabash, Blackford, Huntington, Jay, and Wabash counties, as well as Tippecanoe County. And we do have an aerial flood warning for Blackford, Grant, and Jay counties. We also have some dense fog in the area, dense fog advisory in effect for Wayne, Union, and Fayette counties until 10 o'clock this morning. Visibilities are being reduced down to less than a mile in many locations this morning. 3/10 of a mile in Bloomington, as well as Kokomo. 6 miles of visibility in Muncie, so that is definitely improved, but still 1.5 miles of visibility in Shelbyville and 3/10 of reduced visibility in Richmond. Notice we still have some clouds around this morning, so I do think we'll see a mainly cloudy day. Temperatures right now at 71 degrees. Today we'll see highs topping out around 87 degrees, so it will be a hot, sticky day, and heat indices will make it feel like it's in the low 90s with a high of 87 degrees. All more details about thunderstorm chances coming up in your SkyTrack 13 7-day forecast.
Kelly, thank you. A local mother says a daycare worker molested her daughter. It's a serious charge. Metro Police have launched a serious investigation. Police have questioned the male employee from the Children's Choice Learning Center at St. Vincent. The daycare said in a statement released yesterday that the teacher had been put on administrative leave. According to that daycare, they also called police and other local children's agencies to investigate. Investigators said it all started when they got a call yesterday afternoon to come to the emergency room at St. Vincent Hospital. That's where they met a mother and her 4-year-old daughter who said the little girl's teacher had fondled her. The daycare's parent company also said in its statement, in part, the teacher had a clear background and reference check at the time of hire, and no other teachers, parents, or children have ever reported any concerns. Criminal background checks review the state and county records where employees have resided, worked, or gone to school in the last 7 years. No word on how long this teacher had been an employee there. Well, the mayor's office says it wants to help Flanner House charter school students find new schools when theirs closes on September 11th. At a meeting last night, the deputy mayor for education told parents school fairs are set up next Tuesday and Wednesday at the Ivy Tech campus. Parents will have a chance to touch base with other area schools. The Flanner House School Board voted to close the charter after the State Board of Education found alleged cheating on I-STEP tests, including answer changes allegedly made by adults. If the school board hadn't closed the school, Mayor Ballard said he would have. Parents and school supporters were very disappointed.
It's like trying to save a patient that has a small melanoma cancer on them by getting a chainsaw and an axe out. You're not going to save the patient.
At WTHR.com, you can find the times and location of those school fairs the city has set up next week to help those families find new schools. You'll also find a website the city set up to answer questions from Flanner House families. Just look online for the online version of the story. That's at WTHR.com. About 1 year ago, a local teen was hit on his bicycle while leaving a church carnival on the southeast side. 13-year-old Alec Bowles had a traumatic brain injury and had to have his leg amputated after the accident. He has made progress through therapy, relearning how to talk. But now the family's insurance has told them they won't cover his therapy anymore. So today they're hosting a fundraiser car wash for Alec. It's from 10 to 2 at the McDonald's in the 5900 block of Madison Avenue, just south of Stop 11 Road. The Bowles family anticipates a lifetime of therapy and medical costs for Alec. They say they are grateful for what the community has already done to help. The Franklin teenager who survived a deadly swimming accident is now back home. 16-year-old Sarah McLevish is out of the hospital this morning. Two friends and first responders rescued her from the Big Blue River in Edinburgh earlier this summer. She made it out alive. Her friends, though, died trying to save her. Her mother says they are getting settled in at home and working on her recovery. And Kelly Green joining me now for kind of this mixed bag forecast we've been talking about.
Yes, we do have a chance of thunderstorms. We have heat and humidity and then a cool down in your forecast. This morning, though, we are dealing with some patchy, dense fog that should burn off in the next couple of hours. But do take your time as you travel this morning. Give yourself a little bit of distance from the car in front of you. Details in your SkyTrack 13 forecast coming up.
Plus, after surviving 2 plane crashes that killed most of his family, Austin Hatch is now off to college. We hear from him as he fulfills his dream. Plus, Russia is now bringing aid into war-torn Ukraine. Why Western powers, including the U.S., are worried there could be other motives at play. Welcome back. It is 8:08 on your Saturday morning. It was a moment a lot of doctors didn't think would happen. After surviving 2 fatal plane crashes that took the lives of everyone in his immediate family, Austin Hatch, former prep basketball star at Fort Wayne's Canterbury High School, stepped back onto the court. Maria Schreiber has more on his miraculous recovery.
If I would have thought of this situation before what happened to me, I wouldn't have thought I could make it either. I think it really comes down to character, just being able to, persevere in the midst of tragedy, in the midst of adversity.
At 19 years old, Austin Hatch has braved more adversity than most do in a lifetime. Raised in a loving family in suburban Indiana, the 6'6" teen was a star basketball player who dreamed of playing for the University of Michigan, his mother Julie's alma mater.
From an early age, that was a bond we shared.
But when Austin was just 8 years old, tragedy. His father, Stephen, an avid pilot, was flying the family in their small plane when it crashed upon landing, killing Austin's mother and 2 siblings. Austin and his dad survived and became each other's lifelines through the grief.
I'm what kept him going, and he's definitely what kept me going. He was my best friend, my basketball coach, my mentor, everything.
By 16, with his dad's support, Austin got his wish, verbally committing to play college ball at Michigan. But then, a cruel twist of fate. He and his dad were in another plane crash, killing his father and stepmother, and leaving Austin with severe brain injuries. Doctors feared he'd never play basketball again.
Now you've lost both your parents, your brother and your sister, your whole family. Did you ever think, like, I'm not going to be able to make this?
No, never. And I can hear their voices in my head. You know, when I face a difficult situation, you know, I can hear my dad guiding me. You know, that's really all I strive to do my whole life, is just to honor him with my life.
Even with his family gone, Austin didn't give up, relearning how to talk and walk.
My dad and mom raised me to be an uncommon man. The uncommon man gets up at 5 in the morning to go work out to get stronger when no one else is, and it takes an uncommon man to do that when no one's looking.
To fulfill his basketball dreams, Austin moved in with family in California to finish high school, building up his skills with a private coach and keeping his father's Bible by his bed.
Do you have a deep faith in God and in yourself?
Very, very deep faith. Surviving 2 airplane crashes, either luck is on your side or there's some sort of divine intervention in your life.
In his first game back, Austin says his faith helped him score this three-pointer on his very first shot.
The whole place is in pandemonium. The whole team is rushing. What was that like?
Well, there were a lot of tears in the locker room. Not that shot meant that I was totally recovered, and it definitely didn't, but it was a big step in the right direction.
3 years since he lost nearly everything, Austin's dreams are finally coming true. This spring, he graduated from high school and is now at the University of Michigan on a full basketball scholarship. His success, a lesson to anyone facing the impossible.
When you asked yourself the question, why me? What was the answer you came up with?
Asking yourself that question, it doesn't do any good, because, I mean, the time that you could spend wondering and thinking, why me? That's time that you could have spent working your tail off to get better.
Such a powerful story there. Are U.S. airstrikes in Iraq setting a serious precedent? Coming up on Weekend Sunrise, what U.S. military officials are saying about the risk of ISIS now. Plus, trouble within their own ranks. Why a police officer that had been patrolling the streets of Ferguson, Missouri, is now sitting at home.
And patchy dense fog is taking place all across central Indiana, especially in those areas that had the heavier rainfall, down to 1/10 of a mile of fog. Reduced visibilities, that is, in Peru, 3/10 of a mile in Richmond. Things will improve. I'll have the details coming up.
Welcome back. 8:15 this Saturday morning. As the U.S. steps up attacks on ISIS fighters, one question looms. Will Syria be in play? The White House has acknowledged the militant group is now more dangerous than it was 6 months ago. NBC's Richard Engel is near the Turkish-Syrian border with more on the growing crisis.
For 2 days in a row, White House officials, military officials have been suggesting, hinting, perhaps preparing the American public for the fact that this U.S. mission, the war against ISIS, could be about to expand. Not just airstrikes in Iraq against ISIS, but across the border into Syria as well. So far, no officials are committing, no officials are saying that it is going to happen, but one of the president's top advisors today said that as far as counterterrorism is concerned, borders don't mean anything. Almost a overt suggestion that these airstrikes could be going into Syria soon. The reason is ISIS doesn't just operate in Iraq, it operates in Syria as well. In fact, the group's main headquarters is in Syria. So if you attack them in Iraq only, it leaves the largest part of the group untouched in Syria. Richard Engel, NBC News, along the Turkish-Syrian border.
And as the world is reeling from the execution of American journalist James Foley, his parents are now speaking out about what happened. They say they got an email from his captors last week thinking it was a hopeful sign they could negotiate with Islamic militants. ISIS had demanded more than $130 million from his parents and political concessions from Washington. Neither sent the money. Last week, Foley's parents got an email from the militants threatening execution.
I underestimated that point. I did not realize how brutal they were.
ISIS is now threatening to execute a second American journalist and calling for attacks on other American targets. Meanwhile, there are concerns over aid being brought into Ukraine by Russian soldiers. Trucks arrived at the border yesterday as part of a supposed humanitarian convoy. Moscow ordered the aid to eastern Ukraine without waiting for permission from Kiev. Huge sacks were unloaded in trucks and taken away at the docks. The U.S. and other Western nations have warned Russia not to use these tactics to invade Ukraine. The Associated Press is reporting that some of those aid trucks were spotted leaving this morning. Now to the latest from Ferguson, Missouri, where thousands have been protesting the shooting death of an unarmed teenager. An officer that was assigned to patrol that area has been suspended now after an incriminating video was found. In the video, Officer Dan Page calls himself a killer and makes other comments about religion and U.S. political leaders. Police Chief John Belmar issued an apology for the officer's comments during an interview on CNN.
We have to be able to hear from me, apologize to the community, anybody who's offended by these remarks, and understand from me that again, he does not represent the rank and file of the St. Louis County Police Department.
You're apologizing for the remarks?
I am, to anybody that was offended by that, certainly.
Department will review Page's video next week and consider a punishment. Meanwhile, overnight crowds were peaceful as they demonstrated on the streets of Ferguson. While the Hoosier State wasn't the only place to get socked with rain this week, Washington State also dealing with storms that unleashed mudslides on wildfire-scorched hillsides. The mud rushed down the steep terrain, damaging homes and closing highways. There were multiple slides overnight on 2 highways. The slides knocked a house off its foundation there. It pushed a car into a creek, trapped a dozen vehicles between slides, and also left a mound of dirt and debris 5 feet thick across the highway. There were, though, no reports of injuries. Nice thing about being in Indiana is it's relatively flat, so don't have to worry about the mudslides too much.
Although we did have some pictures that were sent in yesterday of some corroded streets because of all the rain and the saturated soil.
Right.
We definitely need some time to dry out, and we will do that for the most part today, tomorrow, and Monday. Satellite radar showing some clouds starting to move back in again this morning, so we'll see a hazy day today. We're also dealing with some patchy dense fog. We do have some fog advisories in effect for Union, Wayne, Fayette counties this morning until 10 o'clock this morning, and that is because we're dealing with these reduced visibilities under a mile, less than a mile in many locations as well. 0.3 of a mile of visibility in Kokomo, 0.3 in Richmond, 5/10 of a mile in Peru, and 8/10 in Columbus. So take your time as you travel this morning. Kind of a hazy sky here on our HD Skycam downtown Indianapolis. It is currently 71 degrees. Light breezes out of the northeast at 7 miles per hour. That light wind will help stir that lower atmosphere and help really make that fog dissipate quickly. So that's what we'll keep our fingers crossed for over the next hour or so. 68 degrees is our current temperature in Kokomo, 75 already in Bloomington, 72 in Bedford, 71 in Seymour, and 69 degrees in Muncie. Now today we do have a chance of a few more thunderstorms. We're also tracking the first 90-degree temperature yet in 2014. We have to go all the way back to September the 11th of 2013 for our last time that we saw 90-degree temperature. It was a hot week. We still had temperatures in the mid 80s, and we are tracking a 90-degree temperature. I'll get to that in just a moment, as well as some cooler temperatures in your 7-day forecast. In the meantime, mainly a cloudy day today. We do have a chance of a few scattered showers, especially in our north central viewing area. Mainly later on this evening. For the most part, the latest model runs are really helping dry things out once again. So I just think a small chance of a scattered shower or storm, but it will be a hot day. Temperatures will climb into the upper 80s this afternoon, and with those heat indices making it feel like it's in the low 90s. Highs will top out around 88 in Rushville, 86 in Muncie, 87 in Noblesville, and 88 degrees the high in Greencastle. Now, if you're heading to the Indy 11's game against Ottawa Fury tonight, temperatures will be around 81 degrees, hazy skies around 7:30. Again, a chance of an isolated thunderstorm tonight. Temperatures fall to 71 tomorrow morning. Again, we do have a chance of some patchy fog, probably not as significant as it was this morning. Now, the jet stream, we've had some storms riding along this ridge of high pressure. Now, this ridge is actually going to start pushing up farther to the north over the next couple of days. That's going to allow that warm air as well as humidity to move in. So that's why we have a chance of seeing our first 90-degree temperature of 2014. Today, still a very hot one, high of 87, 90 degrees for Sunday and Monday. Then we bring in some more scattered showers and thunderstorms on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We start to cool down by next Friday. Naomi?
Kelly, thank you. The regular season is almost here for the Colts. They hit the field for preseason matchup number 3 tonight, and we have a preview of the game coming up next. It's here. It's game day for the Colts. Tonight, the team takes on the New Orleans Saints in week 3 of the preseason, and we should see more starters out on the field this week. Quarterback Andrew Luck is expected to take more snaps out there. Still no word on whether Reggie Wayne and Ahmad Bradshaw will play. Tonight's game will be played at Lucas Oil Stadium. Kickoff set for 8 o'clock tonight. But before tonight's game, the Colts will host their annual 5K run and walk. Runners get a chance to get down on the field, crossing the finish line at the 50-yard line. The race started at 8 o'clock this morning. We will have a live report coming up for you on Weekend Sunrise. We are negotiating with DirecTV to ensure DirecTV subscribers continue to have access to WTHR Channel 13's local news, entertainment, and sports programming. We are hoping to reach an agreement, but if we are not able to reach a new agreement by midnight on August 31st, then WTHR Channel 13 will be removed from the DirecTV channel lineup. Well, taking advantage of their dreams. Coming up, a young woman's warning about a man posing as a modeling agent on Craigslist and the lesson she learned.
And we do have some patchy dense fog across central Indiana. A dense fog advisory in effect for Wayne, Fayette, and also Union counties until 10 o'clock this morning. Do take your time as you travel this morning. I have a hot and humid forecast. Details coming up on Weekend Sunrise.
A frantic rescue on the city's northwest side after a car flips over. What a nurse on the scene did that was caught on video.
But I told him I didn't know what I'd ever do without him, and he said I'd be fine. He said I'd survive, and that gives me some hope at least,
Plus, only on 13, Jennifer Trapezzano speaks publicly for the first time since her husband's murder. How she's coping and what she thinks should happen to stop violence in our city.
And we have a patchy dense fog advisory in effect for Union, Fayette, and Union counties. That's in effect until 10 o'clock this morning. We do have heat and humidity on the way. I'll have the details.
From Indiana's news leader, Eyewitness News Weekend Sunrise starts now.
And good morning to you. It is Saturday. It's 8:30 in the morning. Starting off nice, but could get a little muggy.
That's right. It's definitely already a little bit muggy right now, and it's definitely going to increase today, tomorrow, on into the work week. And we have had a lot of rain yesterday. Some locations picking up for a 24-hour period. Hartford City, 10.5 inches of rain. So we definitely need some dry time, and that is what we are seeing right now. The clouds are beginning to filter back in again. Mainly cloudy, hazy skies this afternoon, and we do have some flood warnings that are in effect for portions of our eastern viewing area. These flood warnings in effect really through the weekend into Monday. We also have an aerial flood warning for Blackford, Grant, and Jay counties. We have a dense fog advisory in effect for portions of our eastern viewing area until 10 o'clock this morning. Visibilities have been reduced to less than a mile in many locations this morning. 2 miles of visibility in Shelbyville, down to 0.8 in Columbus, 0.3 of visibility in Richmond, and 6 miles of visibility in Muncie. Now, we are going to see a lot of sunshine today. Taking a look at our Noblesville camera here, hazy skies starting off with mostly sunny skies, but we'll see those clouds continue to thicken up, and still seeing some sunshine here in the city of Connersville from our Weather Bug Network. Mostly sunny skies right now from our HD Skycam. It is currently 71 degrees. We do have some breezes out of the northeast at 7 miles per hour. It is going to be mainly a hazy day today with a chance of a spotty shower or thunderstorm. For the most part, we'll stay dry. Many locations dry today. Temperatures, though, will be climbing into the upper 80s. Heat indices will make it feel like it's in the low 90s.
New on Weekend Sunrise, road crews in Boone County are still working to clean up after an accident. They are asking drivers now to avoid that area. We do have a live look at the scene there. A semi pulling 2 trailers flipped over on a ramp from I-65 South onto 865 East. Workers do expect that ramp to be closed for several hours while they clear the area. They have also set up a detour. Crews say both trailers busted open and spilled their contents across the road. Traffic along 65 South, though, is still moving. And new on Weekend Sunrise, a driver rescued from an overturned car on the city's southwest side. It happened at the corner of West 29th and Boulevard. Investigators say the crash was a hit and run. In this video, you can see an off-duty nurse jumping into action there, jumping into the car to treat the driver until fire and EMS crews arrived on scene. Thankfully, that driver did not have life-threatening injuries. The crash now is still under investigation. And also new on Weekend Sunrise, 78-year-old Sukhbar Singh has been found safely. We first reported his disappearance last night on the night beat. Metro Police asked the public to help find him because he does suffer from dementia. He was found safely, though, in Michigan late last night. We have a serious warning this morning for people trying to break into the modeling business. One of the country's top modeling scouts, the Helen Wells Agency, says someone is using their good name to lure young girls. Our crime beat reporter Steve Jefferson has the warning from Helen Wells herself and from a young woman who almost fell for that scam.
It's something that I think every girl kind of wants to do at one point in their life.
Jenny's dreams about modeling quickly turned into a nightmare after learning the man behind this Craigslist ad is a fake and his real intentions unknown. The ad invites females for acting and modeling and guarantees them video shoots. But the photos for the ad are ripped straight from the front page of the Helen Wells Agency website in Carmel. Jenny says the advertiser asked to meet near Fall Creek and North Meridian Street, so she Googled the address.
It gave me a street view, and it was apartments. All down the street is apartments. That particular apartment had blue shutters, and it looked really scary.
Helen Wells Agency.
Leery of the meeting, Jenny telephoned Helen Wells.
You know, it doesn't have to be a real high heel, just make it a medium, okay?
Wells has thousands of clients and only uses reputable photographers.
The job definitely is next week.
She also almost never sends her clients to meet away from the studio and office in Carmel.
He told her not to call the office, which tells you something right there. And wanting pictures and videos of girls. Wants girls of any age, that's bad. There's something going on. That is, and also he claims he's working for us, and he's not.
Helen Wells says the fake ad not only serves as a warning for young want-to-be models, but also parents too.
A lot of them are not good people. You have to make sure you've investigated what's going on.
Since Jenny and her mother called and got their warning from Helen Wells,
she had never heard of him.
He will be working next Tuesday.
They hope other aspiring models will also avoid falling victim to a scam or worse. Steve Jefferson, Channel 13 Eyewitness News.
Well, Helen Wells says this is not the first time a fake modeling ad using her company name has popped up online. She so urges aspiring models to do their own homework and on companies making big promises and also big guarantees. Well, a judge has suspended driving privileges for an Indianapolis police officer following his arrest on drunk driving charges. Alan Johnson pleaded not guilty during his initial hearing yesterday in Hamilton County. The IMPD officer was off duty earlier this month when police say he drove over a roundabout and crashed into a telephone pole in Fishers. This is Johnson's second alcohol-related arrest in the last 2 years. In a crime that touched the heart of the city, 24-year-old Nathan Trapezzano was shot and killed last April while he was on a morning walk. The murderer left his pregnant wife, Jennifer, a widow. 3 weeks later, she delivered her baby daughter, Cecilia. This morning, only on 13, she speaks with Eyewitness News reporter Kevin Rader about her life today, the crime wave that is sweeping through the city, and how we all need to step up to deal with it.
I'm moving on, but it's still a very real part of our lives, so I can't just blow it off and say, well, the crime doesn't matter, because it does. I would like to see more people stepping out, like WTHR and just the people who are taking the pledge, just to try to do something about it. Thought if I could just touch one person, maybe someone who has a bad influence in their life or is struggling to see what's right and wrong, and they can see that there is families that are affected, maybe they turn their lives around. I have to be strong for her too, you know. Right. There are so many days I just want to lie in bed and, you know, as soon as I wake up and remind myself this happened, because I have to remind myself every morning why Nate's not next to me. But then she's next to me and she'll be hungry or she'll be awake and want to play, and I can't just lie in bed all day. I have to get up. You know, I just kept looking forward to her and to see a part of him. You don't know what they're gonna look like, and now that she's here, she looks so much like him. She brings so much joy that I felt like I immediately had lost. And there's still a lot of sadness every day, but I feel like I could see him in her, and I know, you know, he left his ultimate gift to me. I get to feel her heart beat every day and see her breathe, and I just feel like that's a part of him still beating his heart and breathing with me. I replay her last night over and over in my mind, partly because I don't want to remember it. It was such a good night. But then, you know, I replay that, and then immediately I go to the next morning in that panic of him not being there, and, you know, things you don't know why you talk about it. But the night before, I told him I didn't know what I'd do without him, and he said I'd be fine. He said I'd survive, and, you know, that gives me some hope, at least, you know.
Is going to be in grad school to be a physician's assistant as well. Jennifer also wears a necklace with Nathan's wedding ring on it. It also has a heart with his fingerprint. Well, the ground is still saturated this morning from heavy rain northeast of Indianapolis, where flooding could still be a problem through the weekend. The heavy rain caused flooding across central Indiana. Eyewitness News anchor John Stair saw the aftermath from Chopper 13, where more than 10 inches of rain fell.
You need water to put out a fire, but ironically, it was water that prevented firefighters from getting to this one north of Hartford City. This is near State Road 18 and State Road 3. Firefighters had to hit the flames from a distance, with the floodwaters keeping the fire department from getting enough water on the fire. The flames ended up damaging or destroying several businesses. And it was flooding that also slowed the morning rush hour as police closed several lanes on I-69 near State Road 18 this morning. Water is blamed for several accidents. It also cut off some people in Grant County, leaving them stranded in homes and barns. First responders had to get in and get some of those people out. And we also saw an ambulance making a hospital run, having to make a dangerous decision by driving through standing water. You can see how high it was in some places as it kept cars in place, unable to move.
About a dozen Hoosiers are waking up in emergency shelters this morning after flash flooding forced them to evacuate from their homes. The rising water consumed their Hartford City neighborhood, and Red Cross workers are operating a shelter for them at the Blackford County Fairgrounds. That's on Park Avenue. The Red Cross will help the flood victims with housing, food, and clothing until they can get back on their feet. And Chopper 13 HD flew over the flooding yesterday. We spotted homes surrounded by water. You can see an ambulance there and other cars having trouble getting around. Also, one building caught on fire. Ironically, firefighters couldn't get close enough to put water in the fire because of all the water surrounding the building. The floodwaters now have all but dried up this morning, and roads in the area are now starting to reopen. One woman, though, never left her home yesterday, even though it was surrounded by water. Rebecca Cushing was concerned about her pets. She did not want to leave them home alone.
Because I have my birds and I didn't want to leave them, or my dogs. So I stayed. Well, they're like my kids. So I stayed home.
Say hello.
She says it's hard because her home lost utilities like water and electricity. Kelly, we going to see anything quite like that in the near future?
No. The good news is we do have a chance of thunderstorms, but nothing widespread like we saw yesterday. In fact, we are starting to dry out this morning. That is definitely some good news. Heat and humidity really crank up this weekend. I'll have the details coming up in your SkyTrack 13 forecast.
Plus, a cherished tradition in Carmel, Greek Fest, makes a comeback. Still to come, a live look at all the sights, the sounds, and the tastes of the weekend. Welcome back to Weekend Sunrise. Sun shining in that picture, but Kelly Green is here to tell us that it may not last all day.
Right. We'll see some hazy sunshine. The chances of thunderstorms really diminishing as we head into the evening hours. So that is definitely some good news, and we definitely need to dry out. Our satellite radar showing dry conditions, and we will see a few more clouds moving in. It will be a hazy day. Taking a look at some of our weather bug cams here in Connorsville, we do have a lot of sunshine right now. You can see the shadows there and the sunshine coming through. Temperature right now at 70 degrees. The air is calm. That dew point at 69. Taking a look at Morse Reservoir, another nice start there as well. I'm sure there'll be lots of boats out there enjoying the warm sunshine as well as the hot conditions. Currently 69 degrees there. And if we head to Noblesville here also, oh, this is actually Greensburg. We do have some hazy skies there, and the current air temperature around 69 degrees in Greensburg as well. So we are going to see a warm, muggy start and hazy skies this morning. Temperature at 71 in Indianapolis with winds out of the northeast, that is, at 7 miles per hour. Temperatures all across central Indiana starting to warm up this morning. Currently 73 in Seymour, 73 in Richmond, 69 in Muncie, 71 degrees in Lafayette. Now we do have a chance of some more thunderstorms, but the latest model runs really are taking that down to a slight chance of some thunderstorms. We're also tracking our first 90-degree temperature of 2014. The last time we had a 90-degree temperature, we have to go back to 2013, where it was on September the 11th. The last time we saw a 90-degree temperature. So we have had a very warm week with temperatures in the mid-80s. Yesterday, we still climbed to 86 degrees. We are going to see hot temperatures, but then a cooler end to your work week, and I'll get to that in just a moment. Future Track 13 showing a few clouds around throughout the day. Today, we'll see that hazy sunshine, and we do have a chance of a few scattered showers and thunderstorms. It looks like the best chance will be early evening through sunset, and then we'll start to see things clearing back out again. It will be a hot and muggy day today. Temperatures will climb into the upper 80s. We'll be around 83 during that 10 o'clock hour, up to 87 around 2 p.m. and a chance of an isolated thunderstorm. Temperatures today climbing to 86 in Peru, 88 in Lafayette, as well as Greencastle, 88 in Nashville, and 87 in Indianapolis. Now tonight, if you're heading to the Colts game, they take on the New Orleans Saints. Temperatures will be around 81 degrees. Again, a chance of an isolated thunderstorm, but again, not a great chance of any rain tonight. Temperatures fall to 71 degrees. It will be muggy with that patchy fog again tomorrow morning. Now, Future Track 13 showing this ridge in the upper levels. We've had some storms riding along this ridge. This ridge is going to end up pushing up farther to the north over the next couple of days. That will allow some of that warmer, more humid air to really push in. So we'll see a couple of dry days for Sunday and Monday, and some hot temperatures. 87 the high for today. Again, we do have a chance of a scattered thunderstorm. 90 for Sunday and Monday. It will be very steamy. We'll see those heat indices climbing into the mid-90s. As we head into Tuesday, we start to bring in some chances of thunderstorms. Thunderstorm chances continue on Wednesday and Thursday. And notice, Naomi, as we head towards the end of the work week, temperatures will only be climbing into the upper 70s.
Kind of this roller coaster of rain, warm, chilly.
Yes, exactly.
Typical week in Indiana summer.
You got it.
All right, Kelly, thank you. Well, it is also move-in day for freshmen at Butler University. Nearly 1,000 students will move in today. The class of 2018 comes from 37 states and 6 countries. Butler's largest area of study for those incoming students is pre-pharmacy. And it's also move-in day at IUPUI. Nearly 2,000 students will move into campus housing today. Classes there start on Monday. Purdue University is also installing alert beacons in 27 classrooms across campus as part of a plan to keep students safer during emergencies. The tablet-sized beacons have lights and an audio alarm that are activated when the school issues an emergency alert. The text message will also appear, as you can see on the screen of that beacon, when that alert is issued. Purdue University has posted surveillance video now online of a college newspaper photographer being roughed up by police. Photographer Michael Takeda was being detained near the scene of a student's murder on campus. This happening in January. Police say Takeda ignored officers' commands and tried to take off. Purdue, though, refused to share the video initially, claiming that it was evidence in a murder case. The Exponent newspaper and ACLU sued the school. The Tippecanoe County prosecutor agreed the video is not relevant to the murder case, clearing the way for Purdue to post that video. And New Jersey Governor Chris Christie will be spending a lot more time in Indiana this year. This weekend, he's moving his daughter Sarah into the University of Notre Dame that's in South Bend. The 18-year-old will be a freshman there. Christie also has a son that's a junior at Princeton and a 14-year-old son and also a 10-year-old daughter at home. Well, high school football is officially back. Still to come, part 2 of our Operation Football coverage with sports anchor Rich Nye.
I'm Gary Dick, and here's what's topping Indiana business news headlines this week. The Fishers Town Council has okayed an economic development package for Sun King Brewing Company's planned $10 million brewery and tap room. The state's second largest beer producer could double capacity with that Fishers location. Carmel-based U.S. Sports Advisors has announced plans to expand its headquarters and add up to 36 jobs by 2018. The sports and entertainment marketing agency says it will invest more than $1 million into that project. Indianapolis Downtown Inc. is now doing business as Downtown Indy. The organization says the name change is part of a larger rebranding effort that resulted from its recently announced 5-year strategic plan. Gen Con 2014 organizers are reporting yet another year of record attendance. The Indianapolis Gaming Convention drew more than 56,000 people, marking the 4th consecutive year of at least 10% growth. And we'll have all of the week's business news, including exclusive details on Sun King's new brewery and statewide distribution plans. That's tomorrow morning at 11 right here on Channel 13. I'm Gary Dick. Go out and make it a successful weekend.
Greek Fest is going on in Carmel this week. It is the 41st year for the ethnic festival at the Holy Trinity Greek Orthodox Church. It's a great free event from your family. Piotr Mo joins us now live from the church on 106th Street. And I've been to this before. The best part for me was always the food. So can we start there? What will we see and what can we taste?
You will see a lot of great food, a lot of lamb and chicken and calamari and our Greek salads. You'll have great pastries and great appetizers. We call them mezedes, but you can call them appetizers. They will be delicious.
So we start with the food because that's what you initially smell when you get there, but you're going to also be hearing some music, some other really great stuff. Tell us about that.
Great stuff. Children dancing, adults dancing. There will be tours of the temple, and you will be amazed with the iconography. You will be able to visit the heritage tent, in which we have collected items from late 19th century to date, and some of the older artifacts, just to display part of the heritage.
And it is such a beautiful church. After 41 years, how do you keep this event new and different for folks?
Well, it is always new and different to many, many. The church has changed quite a bit since the iconography, and we're not quite done yet, but the iconographer comes every year and does one more piece. So there's new things to see for that. The festival is always such a good family event. The kids are always amazed at learning how to spell their names in Greek, or how to say their names in Greek. That's a fun thing that they do. But come join us, become friends.
It sounds like a great time.
Every year.
Yeah, it sounds great. Save me some spanakopita. I will see you there hopefully sometime this week.
Definitely.
And the hours for the festival are today from 11 a.m. until 10 p.m. Also tomorrow from 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. You can see that information on your screen. Remember, it's free and there is just delicious, incredible food. You got to check it out. Well, it was certainly a busy night for the guys in the sports department as Operation Football kicked into high gear with the first night of high school games. Rich Nye takes us to a playoff rematch and a heat-delayed game.
Carmel just 1 point short of being champions a year ago. The Greyhounds opened the season #1 against #8 Hamilton Southeastern. Both student sections top-notch as well.
These Hamilton County rivals opened the season against each other. Last year, they opened the playoffs against each other. Carmel won big time on the way to the state finals.
The Royals' opening drive goes 97 yards little by little. Aaron Matteo finishes with a 2-yard touchdown, but the Royals did not score again. Carmel's big back Shakir Pascal bounces off defenders and runs over others. An 11-yard TD ties the game at 7.
Touchdown!
The Greyhounds score one more time in the second half for a 14-7 win. A pair of hot offenses cooled off in the second half as Martinsville took on Guerin Catholic. This game was pushed back a half hour to avoid the heat. but still some players cramping up in the humidity. The defense has turned up the heat too. Matt Labus goes down for a sack under pressure from the Artesians. And on the other side, the Eagles' Jordan Hitchcock blows up this play with a big hit. The Artesians came back from 18 points down and took the lead when quarterback Josh LaRue keeps on the read option for a 9-yard touchdown. The only score of the second half. Martinsville wins 28-24. I'm Rich Nye, Operation Football.
Before Colts fans run to the gates of Lucas Oil for tonight's matchup against the Saints, they will be running through the streets of Indianapolis. Coming up on Weekend Sunrise, the details on the 5K happening this morning and how it's making some fans' dreams come true.